Ten Hag sack, Man United boss told his dying at Old Trafford as Ornstein drops big Kieran McKenna update. Man United hit with crazy demand to sign top Serie A star as door opens for shock Raphael Varane move. Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag has been torn to shreds in the Dutch media for his post-match speech at Old Trafford on Wednesday, while David Ornstein has provided a significant update on Kieran McKenna amid claims the Ipswich boss is a firm candidate to replace him. The Dutchman enjoyed a triumphant first season at the helm, guiding the Red Devils to a top-3 finish in the Premier League as well as 2 cup finals, with success arriving in the Carabao Cup. And while he could still win an even more prestigious trophy this time around with the FA Cup final contested in a week's time, it's been a season of major underachievement for all associated with Manchester United. Having crashed out of European football entirely before Christmas off the back of a disastrous Champions League campaign, that poor form has spilled over into the Premier League, with United losing a club record 14 times in the league this season. With their final league game of the season coming at Brighton on Sunday, United need a win to ensure they don't suffer their lowest ever points return in Premier League history, which stands at the 58 they won in the 2021-22 season. United currently have 57, which has them sitting in 8th place and in danger of missing out on European football altogether. Such form, together with the kamikaze tactics employed by the Dutchman, has seen Ten Hag's position come under serious threat, and claims of him being sacked are never far from the news. Ten Hag sack, Dutchman told his dying at Man United. Ten Hag himself has been conducting himself as though he will be in charge once again next season, insisting he remains the right man for the job and addressing the crowd in a confident and relaxed manner following Wednesday's hard-fought but entertaining 3-2 win over Newcastle at Old Trafford. On behalf of the players, the staff, and myself, I'd like to thank you all for the brilliant support during the season, he said. As you know, it wasn't an easy season, but one thing remained constant, and that was the backing of you for the team. But this season is not over yet. First at Brighton, we go for 3 points again, and then we go to Wembley. I promise you that those players will give everything. Everything to end it good, to win the cup and bring it to Old Trafford. And we are sure that you will be there, supporting us. Thank you for being the best supporters in the world. Thank you. Despite that somewhat rousing speech, Ten Hag has been taken to the cleaners in his native Netherlands for his futile attempts to galvanize the club. Analyzing both his comments and his chances of remaining in the job, journalists René van der Gijp and Johan Derksen, together with TV presenter Wilfred Genie, all had their say. I did have my reservations about that speech on the pitch. He just kicks in open doors, van der Gijp said. That man is dying a bit there. Pretty painful or not? Presenter Genie asked, while Derksen labeled them as a bit of desperation speech. These are his last convulsions, van der Gijp concluded, pointing to his likely sacking as manager. Next, Man United manager Ornstein provides update on Kieran McKenna. With Ten Hag feeling the heat, minority shareholder Sir Jim Ratcliffe is reportedly considering the merits of a number of would-be successors to the Dutchman at Old Trafford. And while the likes of Gareth Southgate, Graham Potter, Thomas Tuchel and Roberto De Zerbi have all been touted as options, former United coach McKenna has leapt firmly into contention over recent days. The Ipswich coach has won back-to-back promotions with the Tractor Boys since taking charge, earning them a return to the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. Despite McKenna's strong links to the club, trusted reporter Ornstein has moved to play down his chances of taking on the job. I imagine he is among many names they are looking at if they undertake a managerial change, the journalist told Backpage's podcast. McKenna is young, which is something I hear Sir Jim Ratcliffe is keen on should Man United need to make an appointment. He has been doing fantastically well at Ipswich, and has close ties to United. But from the checks I've made, there has been no movement from Man United towards McKenna. And, at present, the prospect is not expected to develop. The EFL's most experienced boss Neil Warnock also doubts McKenna is ready for such a job, commenting on TalkSport, "There's no way he goes to Man United. He's not ready for Man United yet." On his achievements at Ipswich, Warnock added, "Everything Ipswich have done to get 2 promotions, it's not easy. There's no reason why they don't sustain it. It is going to be difficult. All 3 promoted teams have gone down, but there's a good atmosphere at Ipswich. Manchester United have been hit by a new staggering valuation by Juventus for star defender Gleison Bremer, while the man he looks set to replace at Old Trafford, Raphael Varane, appears to have the welcome mat laid out for him by a League One side. The Red Devils are gearing up for what is expected to be a summer of wholesale changes both on and off the pitch. With Sir Jim Ratcliffe now having got his feet very firmly under the table at Old Trafford, work is underway at transforming Manchester United back in the elite force they were in the glory days of Sir Alex Ferguson. To help them along their way, the British billionaire has installed a crack team of specialists at Old Trafford to ensure they hit their targets as quickly as possible, with Jean-Claude Blanc arriving as a director and Jason Wilcox already in place as their new technical director. In a matter of weeks, United will also welcome Omar Barada as new CEO after he was convinced to quit Manchester City, while Dan Ashworth will become the club's first ever sporting director once compensation is finalised with Newcastle. Between them, the five men will look to navigate the stormy waters that comes with the running of the club, while matters on the transfer market and first-team squad central to that. In terms of incoming new signings, Ratcliffe is understood to have made clear he would like to bring in 4 big-name additions this summer to help rejuvenate the squad, with a centre-half, a midfielder, a striker and a right winger top of the agenda. Raphael Varane offered chance to join League One side. Of course, any new arrival will likely cost significant fees, and it's not just a case of Ratcliffe dipping into his pocket and spending whatever he chooses on players, with the club's finances having to be carefully balanced to ensure United remain with their financial fair play (FFP) limitations. As a result, a number of big-name stars and high earners will find themselves moving on both this summer and in subsequent transfer windows. To kick things off, United have already confirmed that Anthony Martial and Raphael Varane will leave the club this summer at the end of their contracts and leaving them free to find new clubs. Those 2 departures alone will save United a staggering £590,000 a week owing to the colossal fees the 2 Frenchmen took home between them, with Ratcliffe set to bring in a more cost-effective wages policy in time. Varane alone was earning £340,000 a week, and where he ends up next may depend on whichever club can get closest to matching his wage demands. Clubs in Saudi Arabia have predictably been linked, though one of his former clubs in Lens have now made their feelings clear about the possibility of re-signing their former star. The League One side's coach Frank Hayes stated, "Obviously Raphael Varane can interest me. By his qualities as a player, by his qualities as a leader, by his human qualities, by everything he represents and by everything he is still capable of giving, I am sure. After that, the financial aspects don't just depend on me, but if there was a possibility I would be the happiest coach." However, a deal looks difficult, with Lens' current highest earners being Bryce Samba and Eli Wahi, who are on an estimated £50,000 a week. Man United told huge costs to sign Gleison Bremer. United are well down the line in identifying potential replacements for Varane, with Everton's Gerard Branthwaite and Gleison Bremer of Juventus emerging as their 2 favoured options. Any sort of deal for Branthwaite would likely set United back a minimum £60 million after the defender earmarked himself as one of the Premier League's outstanding young centre-halves this season. But if Ratcliffe hoped a potential deal for Juventus man Bremer would come in for any less, he may need to think again after the Serie A giants made clear their demands for his sale. Having watched the Brazilian in action once again this week for Juve in the Coppa Italia final against Atalanta, United are understood to have now made contact with the Bianconeri over a prospective deal. However, Juve have told they expect a minimum €70 million, £60 million, fee for the 27-year-old if they are to consider his sale this summer. That's some €10 million, £8.6 million, more than United had initially expected to pay. Such a price will likely leave United with a straight choice between the 2 men, and there is little doubting Bremer has the qualities to shine in the Premier League. This season he has boasted an 86% pass accuracy, playing an average of 4 long balls per game, though it is his numbers defensively that tell the best story, where he has won 5.3 duels and 1.6 tackles per game, while also averaging 4.1 clearances and 5.4 recoveries. Juve have also kept 15 clean sheets in Serie A this season, with the 4-cap Brazilian in their defense,